Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I watched a video only 10 minutes ago by G-Man Boxing. If you haven't subscribed to his channel, go over there. It's a great channel. And he was doing a little sort of roundup of the week thing, and he mentioned something that I thought was really interesting, which is a point that I think a lot of people are overlooking, myself included. And that is with regard to all the people that are leaving Matchroom. Um, you know, there's been a lot of them. Liam Smith was quite a big name. I don't think Billy Joe Saunders is going to be promoted by Matchroom anymore. The latest one is Lorraine Richards, who's talking about leaving. Now, G-Man said, he made the very, very good point that who's going to fill those cards? Because to me, if you get rid of all your, so we call them second tier fighters, you're weakening the cards that you're offering. And to me, Matchroom, going way back to the early Sky days, the strength of Matchroom was that they stacked their cards. And this was especially important with regard to bringing back pay-per-view, because it was Matchroom that resurrected pay-per-view after the Audley Harrison, David Haye farce. They kind of killed pay-per-view. And as you know, I'm not a fan of pay-per-view. I don't buy pay-per-views. But the strength of Matchroom was that they, if you go back to the Bellew Cleverly 2 dreadful fight, and it was only like 12 quid. Oh, I paid 12 quid. And, obviously the intention further down the line was to increase the money to increase the price to, 20 quid, 25 quid. We now see £27. This is what people do. They build a market. They build a base of people who are going to go for this, and they gradually, incrementally increase the price. Okay, which is over a period of years. They're thinking of the long game. And the people who buy into pay-per-view, they think, well, it's only another couple of quid. It's only another £2 there. It's only another £3 there. And gradually it builds and builds and builds. So, 10 years later, you end up with a pay-per-view that's 30 quid, or it's going to go up and up and up. If you keep buying pay-per-views, it'll go up and up and up, and eventually you'll end up with 50 quid, possibly even more. Give it time. You'll see that I'm right. But the strength of that, if you go back to Nathan Cleverly, Tony Bellew 2, as bad as that fight was, that card was stacked. Why was it stacked? Because Matchroom had signed a load of fighters which they could stuff their cards with in order to make it appealing. Now, if ever Matchroom need that same tactic to appeal to the audience with DAZN, it's now. Because DAZN, it does not have the Sky outlet, as we've talked about this before. I love DAZN. I love the Netflix of boxing concept, and I'm a big supporter of it. But it's got to grow over, again, a long period of time. It won't be happening in a year or two. This was always going to be a very long-term project, just as Sky was. Because if you're an older fellow like me, you remember when Sky started and how it was losing money hand over fist, millions and millions, and it gradually, incrementally grew to the point where, and it was supported. Rupert Murdoch founded it, and he was taking the money from his papers and plugging it into Sky to keep it going, and it gradually grew, and now it's an absolute behemoth of a platform for fighters. DAZN doesn't have that, so all the money that's pumped into it, it's a long-term venture which may or may not work. I think it will work eventually, but in order to gain those new subscribers, Matchroom need stacked cards, and I like the Matchroom cards. I think DAZN offers pretty good quality. But if you keep getting rid or allowing them to go of all these fighters who are second tier, who are you going to put on the cards? This was the point that G-Man made in his video. I think it's a very, very good point. You need stacked cards in order to draw people in. So they might say, well, I'm not that interested in so-and-so, but no, the card's pretty good. And, or they might sort of dip their toes in the water and say, I'll have a look at this. And then, they think, oh, there was a lot of quality stuff on there. There was several really good fights. Yeah, I like this DAZN thing. If it's this wasn't a DAZN thing, but if you look at the Tyson Fury, Dillian White card, all right, this undercard is the worst ever pay-per-view undercard. It's absolute garbage undercard. And everything was hanging on White versus the Fury, which was kind of a damp squib because it wasn't a particularly entertaining fight. And Fury got the job done, and I'm sure his fans were delighted. But what else do you remember about that card? Nick Ball? Is it Nick Ball? Is that his name, little fella? He was good. that's it. And I wouldn't be surprised if the next. I wouldn't be surprised if the next BT pay-per-view fans are going to be a little bit reticent about putting their hands in their pockets. So Lerone Richards leaving Matchroom. I mean, I know that obviously Fury Dillian White was a BT thing, and BT is more of a traditional platform. But I think that they'll suffer if they don't stack their cards, and they can't really stack their cards because Warren could have put some of his other fighters on that card, but didn't. Anthony Yard, I think, should have been on that card. I know that's BT, but they can not really get away with it, but they've got a bigger platform. DAZN is growing. It needs stacked cards, stacked undercards. And Lerone Richards leaving, and Liam Smith leaving, and everybody, there seems to be a bit of an exodus over to DAZN, not DAZN, Boxer and Sky, because the appeal is they have that big platform, all those outlets that can get your name known. So I think this is problematic, more problematic than a lot of people realise for DAZN. And if I was Eddie Hearn, obviously I don't know the finances behind it, I don't know what he has and hasn't got to spend, but if I was him, I'd be looking to hang on to a lot of these fighters. All right, he's got Conor Benn, who's protected to some degree so far, hasn't proved himself as a bona fide world champ yet. I don't see a great deal of depth with Matchroom's roster at the moment. I think that they're letting people go. What do you think? All right. Well, I thought I'd mention this. Leave your comments below. And thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit the like button, all that usual stuff. I always appreciate it. We'll speak again soon. Have a think about it. Leave your comments below. You take care of yourself. Speak later. Bye for now.